I know it sounds like a lot, but if you can have all those pillars of wellness, or I always say your ducks in a row, especially moving into the second part of our life when we go through the change, it's such an easier transition.
Welcome to Mother Nature's Doctor, the podcast where ancient wisdom meets modern wellness. Hosted by Dr. April Schulte, a specialist in Chinese medicine, this show explores the power of nature as the ultimate healer. Each week, Dr. Schulte dives into a new health topic, revealing how holistic practices, herbal medicine, and time-tested natural remedies can help you live a healthier, more balanced life. Get ready to nourish your body, calm your mind, and reconnect with the wisdom of Mother Nature.
Welcome back to season 2 of Mother Nature's Doctor podcast. I am your host, Dr. April Schulte, and this season we're diving deeply into one of the most universal and often misunderstood learnings we all share, the art of aging naturally and gracefully. And for this episode, I'm so excited to offer who's become a dear friend of mine, Mia Finnegan. Welcome so much to Mother Nature's Doctor, Mia.
Well, thanks, April.
And yes, I wanted to introduce you a bit, if I may, and then please correct me if I get any of it wrong, or we can always fill it in because you've got quite a resume. And I even learned more about you recently as we decided to record this podcast together. Mia is a 59-year-old wife, mother of 3, fitness pioneer, celebrity trainer, four-time fitness title holder who shares her love of fitness, nutrition, family, faith, and health through her online classes, supplements, and Goal Chasers nutrition accountability business. Welcome to Mother Nature's Doctor podcast.
Thank you, April. I'm so excited to be here. I'm glad that we can connect on this because there's so many great things that I know you and I can do together, just to help women, obviously through transition in life and stuff like that, and just overall health and wellness, period.
I thought of you because I know you're interested in health, and I met you through LifeWave patches, and hopefully we'll have a little bit of to talk about those during this podcast. If not, we'll have to do another one because I would love to do. However, because I'm aging, I'm looking at 50, and I have aging naturally on my mind because that's where I am in life. And I know you, as a role model, it seems to me, have done an incredible job aging gracefully. What are some of your favorite tricks you could share regarding just your own personal journey when it comes to aging well?
Oh, sure, absolutely. And it started off when I was young too. I always implemented what I call my pillars of wellness. So I always made sure that I got really good sleep. I dealt with my stress. I always ate well. I exercised. I always use supplements because of our depleted food sources, and always did some sort of like, whether it's like coming to somebody like you, going acupuncture, some sort of alternative therapy, whether it was, like you said, we talked about maybe the patches later, light therapy, infrared saunas, cold plunges, anything that deals with cellular regeneration. Because I know it sounds like a lot, but if you can have all those pillars of wellness, or I always say your ducks in a row, especially moving into the second part of our life when we go through the change, it's such an easier transition. So that's really kind of my formula to help women age well and just have vitality.
Well put, because having those pillars in place, from there, we can sort of individualize care for each person. Certainly, we know every woman and male for that matter is different. We're all different. But if we can have a baseline of health that is achieved on each level, so mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, then from there we can branch out and think of specific modalities and specific other tools to help achieve balance.
Yep.
Would you mind just defining for our audience what is cellular regeneration?
Cellular regeneration is basically getting down to the depths of your cells, okay, and turning them over so they are remaining young. Because there's a lot of people who have kind of, I guess I'll use this, abuse their bodies, whether it's too much drinking, too much smoking, too much eating, poor foods, not exercising, and their cells are deteriorating at an incredible rate. You, myself, I know we take good care of ourselves, and there's only so much we can do, to help with cellular regeneration. But all of those things that I talked about, all the pillars of wellness, all of that helps because there's so many, again, I see it all the time. I've been fighting this battle of obesity with clients for 36 years now, and their cellular turnover is so poor. That's why I have to get their body in balance before we can really start that cellular regeneration. So just taking your most core cells, and I'll talk about stem cells for a moment. Your stem cells in your body deteriorate from the time you're about 35 and on. So the stem cells in the body are your universal cell, the mother cell, the God cell, whatever you want to call them. But by age 30, we have, maybe 30% that are still really active. And then by the time you're my age, which I'm 59 now, it's almost like 80 to 90% that are inactive. So we wanna make sure that we keep turning over those cells because those are the ones that whether I have a cut on my hand, that goes to my hand and heals my hand. So we need to keep turning over cells. Otherwise, we're just gonna um, instead of reverse aging, we're going to be aging poorly, versus aging well. So I hope that answered that question. I know I kind of went a little roundabout way, but it's not easy to understand what cellular regeneration is.
I'm going to take this conversation in a different direction that may be expected. Um, Based on what you just said about cells, because I always say that each cell holds a memory. So every cell of our body holds memory.
Mhm.
And this is when our emotions are one aspect of cellular health that often goes missed in large by what medicine and not only Western medicine, but even complementary medicine can miss the whole idea that our emotions are remembered by each cell of the body. And I would love to just intimately share, if that's okay. You really had a challenge, you suffered a significant loss while you started menopause. And you are such a great example. This is why I wanted to bring it up. You bring so much hope. My chills all over just thinking about how much hope you can give people like myself and other women who are wondering how they're going to make it through, like you said, in a way that's going to work for themselves, even when life throws us some adverse challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so what April's talking about is my son Noah passed away 7 years ago, November 1st, 2018. He was 19 years old, and the worst traumatic event in my entire life. I've had grief before, but nothing like this. So, but what I did to I would say like I'll never get over it, but I get through it. And the first and foremost, April, my faith is super strong. And he was a saved child of God, so I know he went right into God's arms after so he was murdered, and I want you to know that. So it makes it a little more complicated grief because there was a trial and all that. But anyway, with that said, I relied on my faith. I stood on God's rock because I knew that if I didn't, I would lose my mind, number 1, because I also was in the throes of menopause. So I went into menopause at 50 years old. I lost Noah at 52, and I was in a really bad place. And I just knew if I could use this, what I would say the worst thing that ever happened to me for good, then that's why I'm still here. Because I say Noah, his purpose must have been fulfilled because he's not here anymore. So I knew that I had to use whatever means I had to serve others and to serve at a very high level so I could get through menopause, so I could get through this grief, so I could still take care of my family. I had to take care of my family. I mean, I had my 2 beautiful children, Maggie and Eli, and my husband. Like, they need me. So going through all the like you said, like all these hormonal changes and everything, I had PTSD, I had anxiety, I had depression. But again, I give that all to God. And then I said, "Okay, how can I serve people?" So that's what I did. I just started serving people at a very high level and knowing that when I serve others, I get served myself. I get helped, and, I will say, though, there were some dark times, and there still is, but anytime I get into that dark space, I go quiet, or I go outside, I walk in the grass, I'll go to the beach, I'll sit by the ocean. All of those things, whether to me, my favorite one is being by the ocean because you have these negative ions that come off the water, and it completely relaxes your system, and that's what I need. I needed a balanced system, and that's what I teach women now, how to balance not only their hormones, but balance their body, balance all the cells in their body because it can get so out of whack, April. And I've worked with a lot of women over the years, so I hope that answers your question.
Thank you for sharing that. And I think it's going to help a lot of people to hear your perspective. So certainly you are fulfilling your purpose in
Mhm,
helping at a very high quality level. I like to say too that healing happens when the nervous system is relaxed. So that really feeds into what you are saying. And it also sounds like you're pretty well trained to lean on your own pillars of health to make
mhm,
it through these challenging times, but also continue growing as a person. As we go through menopause, it's
mhm,
important to understand that we still have a strong purpose. And often those purposes are transforming. It's very
mhm,
common in the first half of our lives to care for our families. And then
mhm,
the whole through menopause, perimenopause, we are transitioning. We still have our families to care for. But we also see on the other side of that is more opportunity to grow within ourselves and experience a different way of serving
mhm.
for the planet, if you will, sort of on a larger scale than our family. So we're walking through that and also sometimes not feeling great, which brings me to hormone. Hormone, I look at it like this because patients ask me all the time. Every day, a patient asks me, should I do HRT? Should I consider supplementing my hormones? And I always give the same answer, which is it's going to be different for each and every woman. However, we I'm going to frame things the way you did and talk about the pillars. We want to
Mhm,
be balanced. We have a stronger base to go off of and decide, okay, are my hot flashes going to get better if I stop coffee? Or do I need some sort of hormone replacement therapy? And
mhm,
you won't know until you put those pillars in place. And if you jump forward and run right into HRT, then you're not giving yourself the opportunity to find that balance. You're sort of short circuiting it.
mhm. I absolutely believe that.
And so then from there, how do you kind of address that with your clients, your female clients?
Yeah, sure. So, as you said, like, everybody is so different. I mean, my menopausal symptoms were different than the bulk of my clients, where I'd have 22 hot flashes a day, vaginal dryness. I was a absolute bitch. I was not myself. And yes, I had been through the trauma, but at the same time, I was snippy, I was short. The hot flash like literally ripping off my clothes. So when I'm talking to clients, I ask them what are all their symptoms, and I go through like a checklist with them because they need to understand that you might have hot flashes, you might not. You might have night sweats, you might not. You might be that irritated person. You might get the bloat. You might get the, fat gain because of your insulin sensitivity. So we go through all the checklists first, and then we talk about, okay, what is the worst thing that we have right now? Because most of my clients have their ducks in a row. So the hormone piece or any type of alternative therapy piece is just an add-on, an add-on bonus. Okay. So what I find out is okay, this is what they're having. They're having vaginal dryness, they're having no libido. I'm like, okay, so this is what I want you to do. I have him make an appointment with my regenerative medicine doctor. He does the largest panel you've ever seen, a blood panel, and they like down to the micro of blood work, okay? And they find out, oh, yep, all right, your estrogen is here, your progesterone is here, your testosterone is here. All right, this is what we're going to try for the first 6 months. We're going to try a little bit of this, a little bit of this, and a little bit of this. So they all 3 hormones in very small doses, and then 6 months. Not 1 month, not 2 months, not 3 months, and no pellets, and not that I am against pellets because some of my clients love pellets, but once people put pellets in, they can't get them out. Once they're in, they get wait 6 months and be like, "Get this thing out of me," right? If they're having side effects. Whereas micro dosing some hormone therapy in the beginning, and especially, bioidentical, can really, really help. So for me, in the first 6 months, I was like, too much progesterone. I couldn't get up in the morning. I was dragging anchor. We just little bits along the way. So at about the year mark, I was exactly where I wanted to be. The estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone were all in balance again. I felt like myself again. My hot flashes went down to maybe 10 a day instead of 22 a day to 25 a day. So I was so happy. And then again, libido came back, things like that. So again, I don't think it's for everybody. I think there's some people who get through menopause and they might have a couple symptoms. But for me, I think mine was sped up definitely through trauma, because if you think about when somebody has a hot flash, it's hormone related. Okay. And sometimes I'll get a hot flash every once in a great while if I have a stressful thought. All of a sudden, I'm like, whoop, rip off my sweatshirt. So, with all those clients, it's just everybody's different. So, who's ever listening today, evening, night, whenever you're listening to this, just make sure that you write down all the symptoms that you're experiencing first. And then obviously get back with April because she's going to be the one helping you. But then make small changes. Don't go overboard. Like I we'll talk about GLP, I think, today too. I think women like overdose before they know exactly what they truly need based on their blood work. So I hope that helps.
It really does. And you bring up such a good point. That's our tendency, right? We want to go all in. Once we decide we're going to make a change, we like to jump and just go all in. Even if we're talking about fitness, you are a fitness expert. I mean, I looked at your resume. You have won so many bodybuilding fitness awards. You've been on multiple TV shows. You are a celebrity trainer. I've seen your arms, girlfriend. You are looking good. You look great. And you've been doing that for what, your whole life? You've been into fitness?
Pretty much. I was a gymnast from 6 to 21 and then competed in fitness for 10 years, tumbling all over the world on hardwood floors. Silly. Why I did it, I don't know, but I just loved it. But yeah, so I've been doing it for a long time and pushing, weight for a long time. Weightlifting to me, it is the fountain of youth. Like that is, if I could tell somebody to do something, if they're not doing any of the other pillars right now, sleep is number one, obviously, but push some weight around. Lift heavy weights. So we can talk more about that.
Overwhelming. We don't want to jump into that or we're going to get hurt. And so, especially as we're getting older, not that you can't do it because you certainly can, but we want to make sure we're nourishing our bodies properly. My clients who they have not necessarily been athletes their whole lives, it's overwhelming. The idea of even going to a gym is scary. The idea of even taking a walk is scary. And I like to say, hey, one step at a time. Let me just put one foot in front of the other, one step at a time. Grab that can of soup, do some bicep curls, and maybe sign up with someone like you for some coaching, someone you feel comfortable with, and who can teach you how to move through the mechanics. Any kind of trainer, would you recommend most trainers for someone at the very beginning of their training journey, or what are your recommendations about that?
I definitely do. Like even the way I run my practice now, or my personal training service, is I take somebody for 10 sessions because my job is to teach them. My job isn't to handhold them for the rest of their life. So what I do is I just take them for 10 sessions and I teach them the form of an exercise follows the function of the muscle. I teach them about the muscles. I teach them about, why are they doing a shoulder press? Why are they doing a row for their back and how to do it. So when I'm done with the 10 sessions, then they can easily go into a gym. They can be on vacation and go into a gym and feel comfortable, using the equipment, not feeling like they're going to hurt themselves because I've showed them the form of the exercise follows the function of the muscle. So if they know that, then it's easy. So that's why I tell people, yes, if they can't come to me, hire a trainer, maybe just for a couple of sessions, but to make sure they feel comfortable because the muscles are always ready for it. The tendons and ligaments are virgin. So when I'm saying lift heavy weights, I'm not saying to the beginner right now, go in, lift heavy weights. That's silly. So what we do is we increase like upper body, we always increase like 3 pounds at a time, and lower body, you can increase 5 to 10 pounds at a time. But starting off slow, starting off lighter, and progress. And we do different phases. So we start off, working on your strength and your form. Then we move into some more power type exercises. I mean, it could be different for everybody based on their goals, but it's just like you said, one baby step at a time. I tell clients, if you haven't done anything, after dinner, walk around your table 10 times. I mean, it's as simple as that. But the habit, April, is the number one most important thing. We have to create a habit. And a habit doesn't just take, everybody's like, 21 days to change a habit. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. It's at least 90 days. 21 days will get a habit established. But then to solidify that habit, it's 90 days and beyond because you wanna do it like you brush your teeth. Sometimes I'm like, "Did I brush my teeth today?" Because it's a habit. Sometimes you forget. "Did I take all my supplements?" I take them every single day, so of course. Did I put my patch on? Yeah, I did. Like, I don't even have to think about it anymore. Did I work out? Yeah, of course I did, right? So it's all that's what we want it to do, become a habit. Similarly to somebody who likes to go shopping or whatever, it's like, that's a habit. It's like, "Did I go shopping today?" Yeah. They like going shopping, yes. So that's a habit, not a good habit, but, um, so I hope that makes sense. They definitely, hire somebody who is not a 25-year-old, especially if you're of our age, in midlife. Hire somebody who is experienced with a middle-aged body because I've had clients and again, I'm prime example. I'll share with you this, and you can cut this out if you want. But when I was younger and when I first became a trainer at 21, and now I'm 59, 21, you know, I didn't know the difference. Like these women are like, I'm in menopause. I'm like, oh, you're fine. You're good. You're all set. Like I'm 21 years old. I have no clue. Right. So, and I might have pushed them too hard where they couldn't even open their arms the next day. They're like, I can't open up my arm because I made them lift too heavy weights. So you can cut this out or not, but I'm just saying, I just want, if you're going to hire somebody that is within the age of 40 to 60 as a trainer versus somebody who's below 30 who has no idea of what you're going through or the aches and pains that your body is experiencing right now.
I think that is sound advice, and I appreciate you sharing it because it is that advice that's going to help us be successful.
Mhm.
And going back to talking about those habits,
Yeah.
when you develop habits like that, sometimes people say, I just don't like to be told what I have to do. And I try to encourage them to say, well, I don't want to have to get up and walk around the table after I eat, or I don't want to have to do body weight. I don't want to have to do the dishes. And we're
Mhm.
change that language for ourselves, say, well, I am going to walk around the table 10 times because
Right.
it's loving thing to do. And that's when we develop those habits for ourselves, it's because we know that we're worth it. On some
Mhm.
level, figure out that we are worth taking care of ourselves. And we look forward to taking a walk after eating because we know it's going to aid in our digestion. We
Mhm.
know we're going to sleep better. We know it's going to balance our blood sugar.
Right.
And that becomes a very self loving thing to do and a self loving way to live.
Yeah, I love it. I listen, that whole side, the psychology to me of winning is that winning mental attitude. It's not about winning a competition, but Dr. Dennis Waitley, I listened to his tapes all through college and beyond. I have all his downloadable stuff now, and he talks about, like, when people say, "I have to go to work," or "I have to exercise," oh, I have like, just like you said, it's very negative, and it's so he said we change our mindset to, "I can, I want to, and I will." Instead of "I have to," like, "I get to. I can." I mean, that's a gift. Like, when you get that taken away, whoo, you're like, "I'll take that back, please." You know?
Absolutely.
So
It changes the energy when we are able to say, I am or I will. It really does
Mhm,
change the energy of it. And we are made of energy. We are certainly energy. And that is one thing
mhm.
You actually have taught me a lot about the lightweight patches because the way those patches work, I would love you just to explain briefly for our audience what they are, but I would like to see first that it's another way of stimulating acupuncture points, which of course in my world is very fun because we know that we can affect the body's physiological response by acupuncture, acupressure, and these patches.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, and, just like you said, you move energy in somebody's body. By doing acupuncture, you're moving energy, right? During a different pathway, during through the meridians of the body, where these patches stimulate the skin and create a wavelength to be able to elevate different things in the body. Now, the one that I'm most excited, as you know, April, is the X39 patch that helps turn over that universal cell of our body, right? And so, but the way the patches work, they can elevate glutathione, which is the master antioxidant in the body. You can elevate carnosine, you can elevate your energy in your body. So when we talk about moving, energy in the body, the enhancers are phenomenal because for somebody who needs to lose weight, again, you got to have all your ducks in a row. You can't just stick these patches on thinking you're going to lose weight. But you put the patches on, and they were designed to use your fat for fuel. So instead of raising a peptide in your body or, elevating some sort of macro antioxidant, they basically use your fat for fuel, right? Instead of glucose, right? The glycogen stored in the muscle, right? Which is carbohydrates stored in the muscle, it bypasses that and goes right into your fat storage. And so for people who are looking to have that extra edge of energy versus, like you said, do I have coffee? Do I have some caffeine? Do I have an energy drink? Or can I use energy patches that literally move the energy in your body just like you do with acupuncture? And it's just I think it's just such a simple thing for them to use. It's so easy. It's not like taking a pill or a potion or something. And don't get me wrong, I love my supplements, but it's so much easier.
It's one more tool that we have to take care of ourselves. And you really exemplify taking all the tools in front of you and deciding which are going to be best for you at the time. And I'm so grateful for you in my life and love how you reach out and touch others through your work. And with that, you had mentioned possibly offering something to our listeners.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, one of the things that I do for when I'm on different podcasts is offer a 30-minute session with me. It's a Zoom session. And April, I'll give you my Calendly link that they can just go right in there and sign up for a 30-minute session with me. And I will say next week, I'm going to be in the British Virgin Islands. So it won't be next week, but beyond that, they'll be able to schedule any time with me. Just have a quick it's kind of a quick sit down, and I usually have them ahead of time, able to fill out a goals questionnaire. So I have a little background. So when I'm not trying to find out about them on the call, I know a little bit about them so I can maybe direct them, in a different way. And one of the things they can right away, and again, this is definitely for not so much beginners, but I do all modifications on my classes. I do have a YouTube channel that is free, that I upload 4 workouts a week that I do right here from my home gym behind me. And I do my Zoom classes and I just record it. And it's basically like group personal training. So they're more than welcome to subscribe to my YouTube channel and do those workouts. Maybe they can do 5 minutes. We always say 5 minutes of something or even a minute of something is better than 30 minutes of nothing. Okay.
Tired, I'll tell myself, wow, I'm so proud of myself. I took that deep breath. I did the shoulder roll. And then that builds. I'm like, actually, I feel like a better since I took that deep breath. And like I said earlier, one step becomes 100, becomes 1,000.
Right, right. One step, like you said, my mom used to say, left, right, left, right. Just keep putting your foot, especially after I lost Noah. She said, just keep putting one foot in front of the other. You've got this. And that's all
Nice.
yep, yep. And she was a dance teacher. She was a dance teacher for 40 years. She was my dance teacher and she taught everything, but left, right, left, right.
We certainly will include all of your contact information and resources within the context of our podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you again so much for joining us. And I wish you the best trip ever next week. You're going to really deserve that one, I know.
Well, thank you. It is my favorite place on earth, so I look forward to getting back there. Those warm waters, they speak to me. Cold, ice cold plunges don't speak to me, but definitely warm Caribbean water speaks to me.
I hear you on that one, trust me. Thank you, Mia.
Thank you so much, April. Thanks for having me.